Hello everyone, my name is Carol Adams with Carol Adams Creations, and I wanted to come on today and show you an easy way to make your own junk journal, art journal, memory journal, whatever you want to call it, without having to do a stitching. This is just going to be all with paper and just some easy instructions. I have just cut a piece of paper. It was just a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. Not stuck. And I cut it too. This is 12 by approximately 3, but I didn't have my paper trimmer, so I used scissors, and it's a little off, but it'll work. So I'm using a scoring board, but you could just fold this by hand. If you do this by hand, you just have to make sure that everything is the same. We're going to make an accordion fold, and all the accordion folds need to be almost the same to make it work. So I'm going to make this 3/4 of an inch. I made it I made it an inch, but that just seemed to be a little bit too much. So then I went back and I did another one at 3/4. So we do 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 6. I have to think about it. 6 1/2, 6 3/4, 7 1/2, 8 1/4, 9. We have 9 3/4, 10 1/2, and 11 1/4, and then that makes the 12th one. Okay, so once you've got that, and like I said, you could do all of this by hand. You just need to kind of make sure that they're almost all the same. And we're just going to fold this like I did as a kid making fans. Those were always so much fun. You know. So what you want to make sure is that when you get finished with your folds, you have both ends are going up. Okay, because this is what we're going to attach into our cover, and so we'll get to that. So this is going to hold 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 11 pages, and I may need to do one more. And what I did on this one, because this, when you get the 12 by 12 at 3/4 of an inch folded, it only holds 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And what I did is my 3/4. No, that's not it. What I did was I just took a glue stick and I just glued those, and then it just keeps the folds going. Just like that. And then you can do however many pages you want to do in your book. But the number of peaks or mountains, as some people call it, will determine how many pages you have. So I printed off, I'm a member of the Pink Monarch Prints monthly subscription. And so I don't even know what kit this is from, but I printed off these cards, and they had these real pretty covers, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all of these? So I was inspired to do this project. So the next step, I've got all my papers folded, and excuse me, I got all my papers folded, and what I did next is I made me a template the same size, and then I measured the width of this. So I just measured the width of this, made my template, and then I have marked all my pages. You want to make sure that they're, unless you want it really, really wonky, which, some people do, we are going to just, now we're going to make a slit in our spine, which this is the spine. We're going to make a slit in the spine of all of our papers. And I have gone ahead and measured because I didn't really think you'd want to sit here and watch me do all that. I used a friction pin so that when I get finished, all I have to do is just, this one's hard to see. All I have to do is just use a heat tool. Didn't want to cut very well. I use a heat tool and it just removes the ink. I call it the magic pen. This one I'm going to attempt to do 2 papers, and we're going to see if that works. I've never done one of these before, so I thought it might be kind of fun to try. I have that one. Let's see if there's one in there too. No, there's not. That one's already cut. I forgot I already did that one. And I just got some random old papers to kind of add. Ooh. Random old papers does not like to cut. Excuse me. Okay, so that one's done. I think we got both of those. We're just going to finish this up, and then we get to the fun part. We get to figure out how to put all of this together. So, all right, so we have all of our pages cut. We have our, this is basically our, how we're going to put everything together. So what you're going to do is we're going to leave this one because this is the one that's going to go in the, actually it has to go this way. Make sure you have one that's left that is folding up single. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our books pages here. We are going to slide this in here. Easier said than done. Just like this. And then I'm going to cut strips of paper that are going to be the same size. It doesn't have to be, but I'm going to do it that way anyway. So I'm going to do probably about 1/2 inch, I think. Let's see if I can measure this. Okay, so that's 1/2 inch, and this right here is, so then my book is about 6 3/8. 6 3/8, not quite, just a little more than 6 1/4, but not quite 6 1/2. So that's going to be the size of my paper. So I printed off a bunch of the cardstock pages. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make strips from these papers. I'll try to cut 2 at a time here. Okay. Let's do it. Let's see. I can't see my half. Okay, I know how to do this. Okay. Let's see. This, we're going to move this up some. Okay. So now we're going to go to, I'm off camera. Sorry about that. Kind of do it the old-fashioned way here. Okay. Can't get the strips up. Okay, so we've got those 2. I'm going to now go to 5. I'm going to go to down 1/2. I'm sure there's a much easier way to do this. That one looks way bigger. Okay, I think that's enough of these, and I will cut them off. I'm going to just do a couple of more other colors here. Let me just get this off. I'm going to make that right at 10. Okay, cut that off. We have 9.5. We are going to 9. I'm going to make this at there. And bring this down just one more. There we go. All right, so now we have a bunch of our little papers here. I'm hoping those are going to be big enough. I may have to make them a little bigger. We shall see. So what we're going to do, and I know I'm going to have to cut this. We are just going to put this in here. Oh, that's pretty good. Could have been a little bit bigger, but that's okay. And then we'll trim it all when we get done. So now we're going to go to our next page, and you're just going to continue doing this for the whole book. Needs it a little more. There we go. Oh, come on. Work with me here. There we go. And then I'm just going to slide this in here. Okay, we have that one. We're going to add this one. And like I said, we're just going to continue doing this until we are completely finished. Ooh, that one's tight. So I'm gonna finish all this up, and I'm not gonna make you watch me do it because it's all the same steps. And then when I get finished with this, I will show you what it looks like. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm all finished. I have inserted all of my little strips, and I have this little flap here. So this is what will be glued into my cover. And then I have that little flap right there. And then this is my journal. All done. And then what I can do is I can actually glue this so it makes it a little bit sturdier. But you didn't have to do any sewing. So we are going to make our cover so that we can insert this into our journal. So what I'm going to be using is nothing but my cereal box from this morning. And you know, I think that might be just perfect. And I was going to do it the other way, but I really don't need I don't need it much bigger than that, but I think I'll go ahead and make it just a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to cut this box up. It's a great way to repurpose and not just throw it in a landfill somewhere. Let's see if I can get this cut. I'll try to cut it straight right there on the purple line there. Okay, so I've cut this is my cover. I've cut my cereal box up, and now we're just going to glue everything together. I am just using this Yoo-Hoo glue stick. And let me get a scratch piece of paper here so that I don't get this all over my mat. Make sure you give it a good coat of your adhesive. You could also use, you know, liquid glue of some sort. I'm going to add that one there. There we go. Boy, I got a lot of glue on there. I am going to take, which I thought I had it here. Make sure that that's on there really good. Okay, so now we're going to glue this one. Sorry if I'm off camera there, but I think you can see how I glue. Okay. Put the lid on. Get my page here. And then make sure that that's good and stuck down. Okay. So we have our front and our back cover. And it's just a little bit bigger than our book. And I may need to trim it off some because I think that's just a little bit too big. I don't want it quite that big. So I'm just doing maybe 1/8 of an inch around. I think it's all right width-wise. I just need to cut it off some up here. Oh, excuse me, my eye itches. Okay, so let me see. Cover here. I'm going to just trim off just a little bit. Like I said, about 1/8 of an inch. Let's see here. Yes, that's much better. And hopefully they're about the same. Yeah, they're pretty good. All right. So our next step is to glue our tabs on. And then we're going to cover the inside of our book here. And we're done. We're ready to decorate the inside of the book. So I'm going to actually use this Barely Art glue because I want it to make sure it sticks really, really good. You could just go ahead and use a glue stick if you wanted. But I think this might give me a better hold. So I'm just going to line that up just right there on that fold. Press it down a little bit. Make sure it sticks really good. Take me a little break. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the back. So we are going to add our adhesive. I really didn't mean for this to have the same pattern, but that's okay. I didn't check that before I did it. That's okay. We're just going to make sure that it's all lined up. And so see, we have our spine, which is kind of fun. This is the hardest part, getting that pin back in there so that it doesn't dry out. So let's decorate the inside cover here. I just have this vintage music paper. Which is actually, I mean, this is like really, take back the heart. That's kind of a cool page. Then You'll Remember Me. I like those. These are trumpet solos. So I'm going to try to get that on there. So I know it was 4 3/4 by 7. So let's get it kind of trimmed to that much. Let's see here. I'm going to trim some of this off. And trim this off. See if we can get it to 7. Where is my ruler? Right here. Oops, wrong way. Okay, we're going to cut this right about there. Where's my pen go? I already put it up. That's not usual for me to already have put it up. I'm going to cut it right there, and then we're going to do 4 3/4. Let's see, where's my mark? There it is. It's kind of right there, which is going to be a little bit less because I cut some of it off. And then I'm going to trim this here. And then I'm going to turn this around, flip that out, and we're going to go to 4 3/4. that was pretty good. I eyeballed that pretty good. Okay. Okay, I realized after I had been talking to myself for about 15 minutes that I had forgot to start recording. So I just want to do a little flip through of my book, all completed, and so you can see it. So this is my cover. It is about 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So it's nothing but a cereal box. I cut some vintage music paper and I put it here. And I did the same thing for the back. Right there. I glued my little flap. Hold on. Didn't you know I already threw that away? Hold on. Let me just do this real quick. Okay. I glued my flap in right there, and then I put my paper on top of it. Then just to give the book a little bit more stability, I went ahead and glued all of my little pieces in here, and I really think it looks good. It kind of adds a little bit of embellishment already to the pages. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I do apologize that I forgot to hit record, but I think you get the idea. This would be a great journal to put by your bed or in your purse, and you know, just journal. You could just journal in here your thoughts, your what you're thankful for, what you did that day, your grocery list. Wouldn't it be cool to take this to the grocery store and let people see it? And then they could say, how did you do that? And you could explain. I hope you will like, subscribe, and give me a comment, or if you have any questions about anything that I did here today, just shoot me, you know, put a comment in on the page and I will get back to you. So thank you again for watching. And once again, I apologize for not hitting the record, but I think you get the gist of everything. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.